Welcome everybody. Lovely to see you all again, and welcome to another installment of Everything is Energy. And this is the part of my channel where I talk to other practitioners who work in energy that I think you'll be interested to meet. And today we have someone that I think is very interesting indeed. White Dove, otherwise known as Steve Chard. Call him White Dove. So welcome, Steve. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too, and everybody else who's listening.
Nice to get some sunshine.
Yeah, I was driving most of it though. Yeah.
So Steve, I just thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit about your story and how you came to be working in energy. Now, just before we crack into that, just want to let everyone know that Steve and I met about 18 years ago. And the reading I had with Steve at that point was the fuel for me to begin my own journey in tarot. So Steve and I have a history that goes back quite a while, so that was nearly 2 decades ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, quite a
I
while
think
ago.
we're both quite old, Steve, I think.
It's been old.
So talk us through your journey. Talk us through how you came to be working in the energetic field, maybe what led up to that, and yeah, just tell us a bit about you.
Okay. How it all began, I think it began by my birth. Because certainly by the age of 5, I was having connection to, whether you want to call it intuition or high sight, receiving visions and communications, which on receiving these things, they happened. And I've just trusted in these now for all of my life, really. So I think it began really from really early age, from the age of 5. And as far as healing goes, this also began at around the age of 8. Although I didn't actually know about Reiki or angel healing or anything at the time, I would just put my hands where they needed to be and healing happened. I used to get what they call whiteys, not blackouts, but kind of not fainting, but often my vision would just disappear into this light, into this white light. And I used to kind of follow this light. And for me, it was like a dove or some form of angel. And as I grew up more into the teenage sex, the white dove became a symbol which I wore on my back, on my motorbike when I came of age to ride motorbikes. When I got into sound and sound engineering, it became a speaker with a dove coming out. And for me, the dove was always a symbol of love, peace, and hope. And it was never an idea to name myself White Dove in that sense at the time. And I studied various forms of different occult books at the age of 16, 17, 18, and actually I didn't understand them. But I knew something magical about this world existed. So it was only when I got to the age of 30 did I stumble upon something called the Kabbalah. And for me, over a 3-year period, I studied the Kabbalah. I learned meditation through this. I learned many path workings. And for me, the Kabbalah is what then connected all the dots together and allowed me to understand the visions, the voices, the healing, and be able to put it then into practice. So for me, if there was a catalyst, it would be the knowledge and the study of the Kabbalah.
That's fantastic. And do you teach the Kabbalah, or is it just a personal practice?
I do teach the Kabbalah, actually, yes. It's kind of interesting, what goes around comes around in the form of healing and teaching, because I'm now currently in a friend's forest, and he was actually one of my students 21 years ago, and it's really nice to see how he's fully grown, and actually we're going to begin to work on putting a shamanic sound healing retreat center together here in his forest, which is really nice. And so, yes, I do teach, and I've been teaching when I left India. I was teaching the Kabbalah also. I also teach tarot. I teach meditation. I teach sound healing, Reiki healing, angel healing, shamanism. So all the things that I've kind of working with myself and mastered, I like to share and pass on the knowledge to whatever degree and angle people would like to learn. And I will do this until I say goodbye also.
It's great. Can you explain for those who are watching, can you explain what the Kabbalah is? Because it might be a term that people may or may not be familiar with.
Yeah. Many people are familiar, I think, with what they call the flower of life, and possibly also what they call the tree of life. The tree of life comes from the Kabbalah, and for me, when we spiral and spin round the tree of life, it becomes the flower of life. The Kabbalah, it's kind of a map of our universe in the form of planets. It's a map of our body. It's a map of plants. It's a map of the animals. It's a map of dimensions. It's not easy to explain what the Kabbalah is because it's very, very deep. But it's a knowledge. It's a knowledge that is normally passed on through communication. People have written books about it, so the knowledge can be passed on through books. But for me, I really don't feel the books give the true knowledge. The true knowledge comes from actual practical experience with the Kabbalah. For example, we have 10 spheres or 10 circles, and within these there are many triangles, many shapes and formations, which for me also connect up to frequencies, again, dimensions, angles, crystals. So the Kabbalah, like I say, it's very, very deep. For me, the Kabbalah is in everything, even my telephone here, and the poster behind you. I would say the Kabbalah or the Tree of Life is in everything. And for me, when I have this vision and connect in relation to the Tree of Life within everything, I'm able to really work through the pathways, through the energy, and get to where we need to get to, whether it's in healing or in tarot. Yeah, it's very magical. For me, for example, the sun is at the heart of the Tree of Life, and it's like the heart of ourselves. Often I'm quite loosely dressed, and people ask me, "Am I not cold?" And I tell them, "No, I draw the heat from the sun, from my inner heart, my inner sun, and this keeps me warm." But I'm also, for me, the word is very, very important. And so I like to keep myself in what I call center balance and always use positive affirmations, positive words, and so forth. Because for me, negative words, which give off low frequency vibration, these are the things that really make us sick, make us ill, stop us from growing, stop us from connecting to the real energy, the real vibration of the universe. For me, the one thing that was really important, not only the Tree of Life, but also for me, what else was important is the flow of water. So for me, as I said, with the flow of water, energy needs to flow. For me, it's a current, it's a life force, and it's a really strong energy. And for me, the water is the foundation of all healing as well. So at the base chakra, the base chakra is the earth, and here we are on the earth, and within the earth, that base chakra, the base of the tree of life, are the 4 elements, which is fire, water, air, and of course earth itself. So for me, these 4 energies are the foundation of everything and the basis of everything, and everything's made up of these 4 elements, even down to the atom and all the underlying microcosm that is beneath the atom. We have to go, there we go into kind of quantum physics and all that realm. But for me, all of this fits in on the tree of life also. So where we have that tree of life, the base chakra has the tree of life. The Malkuth has the tree of life, and therefore it's endless progression. I hope you're able to understand and grasp this aspect. The second chakra in relation to ourselves is our sacral chakra, and on the tree of life is represented by the moon. And in this aspect, we have the emotions, we have the ego. Just to explain the ego, if I may, the ego is myself. I can never get rid of my ego. Everybody talks about, oh, you've got to kill the ego, you've got to get rid of the ego. But for me, if you kill your ego, well, you don't exist, because the ego creates the I. But of course, we are not the ego. We are all things. And so the second sephira of the tree of life, like I say, which the Yesod is represented by the moon. And for me, the moon and the sun, they have 2 polarities, like positive and negative, a little bit like the yin and yang, or a little bit like a battery. And so therefore, we draw out the energy from these. The moon affects the flow of water. It affects many aspects connected to water. And again, so like I say, for me, it's a very, very important energy source. I say there are 10 separate on the tree of life. So I spoke of the earth, the moon, then we also have Mercury and Venus, the sun I spoke of. We have Mars and Jupiter. We have the galaxy, the Milky Way, which is not a planet, it's a kind of a void. We have Saturn, we have Uranus, and we have Neptune up at the crown at the top. So like I say, these are representations in relation to my body, to my chakras, or my body parts. If I place it against a tree, where it could be the roots of the tree, to the top of the tree, or to the root of a fire, to the top flames of the fire. For me, the fire has spirit, the water has spirit, the air has spirit, the earth has spirit. And as we understand, it's all energy.
So the elemental part of things is really important to you. I can see that.
Yeah.
So what drew you? Because obviously you've spent quite a lot of time in sort of Eastern philosophy and spent a lot of time in India and Nepal. How has that informed your work and your understanding? Hold on 1 second, Steve. I'm going to edit this out. Hold on 1 second, because I have to close this door. Okay.
For me, most of what I kind of learned and what I gained happened here in England. When people ask me about going to India, I have to tell them that actually I haven't learned anything in India. I've been able to really express and expand on my knowledge and experience. But for me, Nepal is my greatest teacher in this sense. There I connected with the Agora Babas. I spent 6 weeks living in a cave on the Ganges where they burnt the dead and connected to all of this type of energy. I learned the power of mantra. I learned what ashrams were about and the temples, the monks. So for me, Nepal is a really amazing teacher for me. I learned. My intention was to go to Nepal, but actually I missed my flight, and I ended up going to India first, and went to Nepal 1 year later. And for me, everything I asked for came to me very fast in Nepal. From working and meeting authentic shaman to various Agora Babas and so forth. Agora Baba is a fire Baba. They work with the fire. And of course, they also work with, because they burn the dead, they also work with this energy as well. And for me, meditating on this was also very, very amazing, because although as such, when we do pass on, our soul moves off our body immediately. What is left is the spirit of the elements in the body. So when they are cremated and they go through the fire, I was able to see the spirits of these, can we say, the dead or the elements in relation to the body, and it was very, very fascinating, very enlightening. Yeah, for me, anybody who wants to learn more, go and explore Nepal, because it is really very spiritual. Whereas India is India's very, very big country compared to Nepal, and there are some beautiful places. But I kind of feel with India, they've kind of somehow lost that connection to the real spirit. The temples there, the tantric temples, are truly amazing. But like I say, I've not been seeing the connection there in India that people should have. I think they're all chasing, they want to be like America or like Europeans or like English, and they've kind of neglected that aspect of themselves. But Nepal still holds those principles, and it's incredible. Yes. So I learned more in Nepal than India. In India, all the things I learned in Nepal, I was able to then put into play with the rest of my knowledge in India, where I started teaching sound healing, introduced sound healing to many Indians, many Westerners too in India. Again, teaching tarot, teaching sound healing. So I was able to really bring that knowledge from Nepal into India and share it with whoever wanted to learn it.
Excellent. So you've just mentioned the sound healing part of what you do. So what drew you to move into sound as a specific modality? What was at the back of that?
Back in the 80s, I was fortunate to come across a very amazing band, and when I went to talk and meet them, I understood they made all their own equipment, and they invited me to their workshop, and I began learning about building speakers, learning about connecting sound and mixing sound and so forth. So for me, I got very much into the art of music, sound engineering, and learning about the frequency aspect there. But at the time, I didn't apply it into sound healing. It was, can we say, rock and roll, although it wasn't totally rock and roll. We worked with many, many different amazing artists. So I got into sound through that. And then when I kind of closed that door in 1990 and then went into the Kabbalah, I had a very, very strong vision of me sitting in the shop. At the time, I was actually living in a van, actually down here also in Somerset. And I was like, that's a big vision. I'm living in a van. How am I going to get a shop? And it's interesting that 1 year later, I was actually in Camden Town in London, and a strong voice told me, remember the vision of your shop? The shop is here. I was like, who's telling me this? I was looking in this direction, but we were there on a record deal with my friends, and I'm like, okay, got to go. And so this made me very curious. At the time, I was doing a lot of ceramic sculptures, ceramic work, working with the clay. And for me, when I was working with the clay, I felt spirit coming through. So the spirit guided to the things that I was making with the clay. And I took these to London and I sold many things. And that inspired me then to move up to London and begin my journey actually doing healing and doing sound through the art. And after 4 years, I actually got a shop offered to me without any contract, and I invited one of my students, the same student that owns this forest, to come and work with me. And he's like, "No, I'm off to India, but I want to bring you a gift back. What shall I bring you?" So I asked him actually for a little singing bowl. I never played one before. It was like one of these little temple bowls. I said I'd like, and he went off to India, and we worked on the shop. We opened the shop, and then one day he came back and he gifted me a singing bowl. And when I played this singing bowl, I could just feel and see the energy and the vibration coming off this bowl. And I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. I want to sell these in my shop. And after about 3 weeks, one Nepali friend, who is now also a very, very good friend, came into my shop with singing bowls and asked if I wanted to sell them in the shop. So I agreed. I said to him, I am a servant of the God. I'm actually doing business. But if you place them in the shop, I will sell them and I will pay you if we sell them. So he agreed, and he started supplying my shop with beautiful Nepali singing bowls, and then gongs, and then drums, and healing tools, and many other things. And so I had one big bowl, and I wanted to listen to the sound of this bowl, and I kind of had it up here on my shoulder, listening. And at the time, I actually did have a bit of an ache in my shoulder. And by the time, after like 10 minutes of knocking this bowl, oh my God, I felt so amazing in my shoulders. And this inspired me to work more with the singing bowls and to feel where in the body these energies were going. And after a period of time, people started coming in for either healings or readings, and I would use the singing bowls very intuitively. I would use the singing bowls, and the responses from the people, they were very positive. We started working with people who had cancer and gone through cancer surgery, and we were kind of revibrating their cells, their energy. Even Lyme disease, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis also. So there are many kind of people came to me with different sicknesses, and again we applied the sound to the people, and through their response, through the transformations that they went through and that we saw that they went through, just inspiring me to keep working with the sound and exploring as much as possible. And now it's been the 20 years working with the sound and vibration. If I can add one other thing to this, I spoke earlier about the flow of water. I'm pointing here because we have a running stream in front of our little camp here. And for me, the body itself is roughly 65% water. And if we actually suck out all the moisture out of the body, our body actually turns to dust. So it kind of led me to believe that we are practically 90% water, 65% fluid water, 25% solid structure held together also by water. And so for me, each different bowl, each different gong, each different instrument, which held different frequencies, it led me to understand that these sounds really, how we say, revibrated my cells in the body and everybody else's cells in their body when we worked on them. And so the body of water holds memory. The body of water holds low frequency vibration through traumas or bad memories and so forth. And so through sound and working with sound, we're able to break down these low frequency vibrations and re-vibrate the cell to its natural vibration. And this for me is the magic of the healing. So it's about really giving positive frequency, positive vibration to the body, to the cells of the body, including the mind. And for me, this is a very powerful tool for healing. I hope that makes sense. That was a lot of information.
No, it's fascinating. It's really fascinating stuff. So, I mean, obviously, traveling around, it's quite difficult with the kit, I guess, isn't it? With sound healing. So, how do you cope with that, with the traveling side of things?
Well, currently, my all my equipment is in India because I came different purpose this time, and in India, I carry it around through. I carry it on a scooter. I do maybe 2 or 3 journeys to wherever I need to go. We set up a little studio space, also either in the home, and people come and experience this. Soon I am going to be shipping some of the equipment back here, so I can begin doing sound journeys here in the UK again, which I kind of look forward to. Over the next 2 years, I believe we will build this and make this come together. So I also have equipment in Europe. So I don't so much carry the equipment with me because I like to have equipment in different locations. So I have equipment. I have equipment in India. I have equipment also in Estonia because I go to Estonia quite a lot. And soon I will have equipment here again. So I don't carry it so much with me, but I do try to have the equipment in different locations.
Yeah,
I did think about it, which is very nice. This one, my friend Tristan, who was my student, who gave me my first singing bowl, I decided to gift him the singing bowl. It's twice the size that he gave me. I gave this to him as a thank you.
wonderful. So, if people want to make a start and get a singing bowl, or how do you suggest they choose their first singing bowl? How would you suggest they approach that?
If they have access to singing bowls, if they go to a shop where they are, they could play the singing bowl until they find a frequency or a sound that goes, oh, I love that one. And I'd say that's then one for them to work with. I'm also working with sound for now many years. I also do actually offer people the opportunity to either buy a gong or a set of singing bowls or a single singing bowl or tincture drum. I offer to source them out. We connect, we communicate. I send them samples of different sounds, and so I can source sounds for people on one side, and then send them out to them. Or like I say, if they go to a place and they're with equipment, they can test their equipment and find a frequency that they really resonate with.
Mhm.
Source them as well.
So how can people get in touch with you then, White Dove, if they want to work with you and maybe find themselves a singing bowl that sings to them?
They can contact me through my email. They can contact me through my Telegram account or my WhatsApp account. They can also contact me through, if I dare say, the Facebook Messenger. I do actually put a lot of my things on the Facebook, different singing bowls and things that I come across. So people can, if they go through my page, see different bowls and things that we do. I can supply the information, and we can put this on somehow so
Yeah,
people can see.
yes, that's great. We'll put a note up in the description so that people can find that information when they wish.
There is one thing in India that we do, and for me this is very special. I work with, as I said, one Estonian lady, Krista, and she experienced a gong meditation in her country. And when we met up in India, she told me about this, And we came up with the idea of doing a night gong ceremony, which is it's kind of over 9 hours. We gather people together, anything from 20 to 50 people, depending upon the size of the hall that we're able to use. And we provide them with a mattress, a place to sit, meditate, or even sleep. And we play sound, literally gongs and singing bowls, for 7 hours.
Wow.
We also do a 45-minute introduction with shamanic drum, shakers, chimes, incense, kind of clear the energy, ground people, and then we do 7 hours of sacred sound. So for me, this is one of the something that I feel really, really attracted to doing now. The reason I do this is 7 hours of soaking in this sound. It's like being in a bath for 7 hours, almost 7 hours of sound, sacred sound. As long as we can have a still mind, which is why sleeping is also okay. 7 hours of sleep in this sound is enough to actually revibrate all of the cells in the body. So we can do a 20-minute sound bath, a 40-minute sound bath for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. They're okay. People will get connection, transcendencies, and so forth. But for me, the real deep, deep healing comes through actually submerging yourself into 7 hours of sound.
Oh.
For me, this is very, very magical.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do and bring to the UK soon also. So for me, that's very magical, and it's something I really love doing. Then over the last year, we also not everybody comes to the gong nights and so forth. It's not there for everybody. And being in Goa, it's interesting because actually many people go there for party, many people go there for dance and so forth. And so over the last year, we decided to do what we do in the sound healing and the sound ceremonies, but then put it to beats so that we can also then reach a kind of more wider audience. And so people can actually come in and dance, and at the same time, we're putting in these magical frequencies in the music.
Yeah.
And that's quite magical. I'm very happy also with this project, and this should be launched. We'll be releasing some albums and meditations within the next 12 months once I return to India. This is also another project with the sound that I'm really happy with and very pleased about. Because I love recording natural sounds, nature sounds. The other day I recorded a really beautiful falcon and its babies. So this is going to come into recording at some point. And I like to cut up these sounds, rearrange them, and create kind of beautiful patterns that people can dance to or trance and meditate to. Yeah, some say I'm gong mad.
So perhaps this is a new career move, as an energetic DJ.
Yes, I like to call it, this word transcendence. I like to kind of call it in a way, or transcendental, trance and dance all.
Yeah, sounds good.
We can
Sounds good.
dance out and transcend and grow, release through.
Yeah, I can see I can see that being big on the on the the Mediterranean dance scene. I think that's what those kids need.
I hope so. Yes. Yeah.
Well, look, Steve, it was really lovely to speak to you, and I'll make sure and put all your contact details in the description.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I'd
I
like
have a
to thank you.
Actually, I have a lot of information that I would love to share with the world. So I hope that we can talk some more,
Yes.
especially about my other project, which is the Tarot and Oracle. This is a very deep project. It's now 23 years of hard graft and work.
Wow.
So it can't be said in a short thing. But I'll be happy to share all this information as well with you and the world, if
Well,
possible.
that may well be the next conversation then.
Yes, hope so. Yes.
That sounds great. Well, Stephen, we better wrap up and say goodbye and have a wonderful evening. It looks like you're in an absolutely heavenly location there.
I'm gonna just change my scenery to the background of the trees, our hut,
Beautiful.
our river behind.
Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. Heavenly.
Yeah, for the next maybe 2-3 weeks. I'll be happy to talk anytime you wish.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Steve. Lovely to see you. Thank you. And lovely to catch up, and we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you.